Florida Cannabis Action Network, or FLCAN, has been fighting for cannabis rights in Florida for over 25 years. We're the grassroots voice pushing back against outdated laws and demanding science-based, sensible cannabis policy. From patients to veterans, business owners to everyday Floridians, we unite passionate advocates who won't settle for less than freedom. Together, as friends, we work with a purpose. Join us. Be a part of a 27-year movement to help legalize the plant.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, Cynthia.
Hello. I was trying to do a nice 1980s pose, like right underneath the chin, slowly underneath the chin. How are you, Jody?
Good afternoon. It's Friday at 4:20. Well, it's Friday at like 4:19.
It's because
And
we're overachievers.
I am so happy to be early and not late. We even have time for a little bit of music and some dancing and that horrible intro that lasts just under a minute that we haven't figured out how to make work.
Listen, we can't be perfect at everything. We're perfect at a lot of things, but just not intros. We tried. We tried.
So welcome to Elevated Intel for November 7th, 2025. My name is Jody James, and my lovely co-anchor is...
My name, okay, they call me Cynthia Brewer.
Nice.
I know you.
Yay. Welcome, Cynthia
I thought she was
Brewer.
going to introduce me, but that's fine. I'm fine introducing myself. OG Jody James. And then one day I'll have a cool, quippy nickname. But we do have some cool guests today that are going to join us, right, Jody?
We do. We have all kinds of fun stuff for you guys today. We're going to connect the dots between the government shutdown, Section 607, some biofarm cultivation. We're going to throw in a splash of alcohol.
Just a little. Yep.
It's going to be a great show today. I'm excited to see where we end up. Where are you and what in the world are you doing? Because that looks like a woman lighting or hitting her vape.
I don't understand. This is not my normal. Okay, yeah. I guess yes. I am. I've led up to this.
And tilt it up a little bit too.
I'm going to. So I've led up to this for a few weeks now that I'm going to be staying at a really pimp Airbnb, and I was so excited because I picked this one strategically because I love the way that they've decorated. So what this is very custom wallpaper with these antique photos of people just smoking and a woman packing a pack of cigarettes, which I think is hilarious. Over here, you've got your zigzag hallway, and you've got this beautiful pink Cayman wallpaper there. I love the way that they've curated the space. And just to give you some perspective, so there's a sign there that says, if you can read this, have a drink. There's the kitchen. And here is the Cayman pillow. So you can see the little alligators, which matches.
Cayman means alligator because I had to look at it 3 times and get the context.
I mean, I have never, I stay at a lot of Airbnbs. I travel a lot for work, and I really respect it when people go over the top because I'm a little extra, as you know. And so George and his group, it's called the Hamilton House. It's in Tampa. It was affordable, available, super adorable. It's got a big fenced-in yard, like a giant koi pond. Everything's private, very
nice,
very classy. So if you're in the Tampa area and you want a nice place to stay that's clean and safe, I would suggest the Hamilton House if you can. But I am having a great time out here. So
excellent. How long will you be there?
I'll be here till Sunday. Yes.
All right. So back in your regular space, because you do have a lovely space. Back in your regular space.
For a second, for a heartbeat. And then I'm going down to Davie to kind of help because we just got licensed at our new facility.
Congratulations.
Finally. Yes.
Yeah, that'll take a lot off your mind.
Yeah.
The OMMU's been working through some stuff. We talked about that last week. So glad to hear that they are on top of it. We certainly want our license holders. It's been a long week for me. We had folks in town. What have you been doing this week?
I mean, I'm watching your busy week, preparing for my busy week, but you guys really, you went out to Tallahassee. You've been in Tallahassee way too long. There's a
Way too long.
limit for what a body can sustain in Tallahassee doing what you do. And I think you're at that max level
I
of,
truly.
yeah. And the remedy is like not going and staying at home and packing a bowl and enjoying yourself and being in a very bright environment, not a monochromatic.
Yeah. I did change it up today. I have a different brown background.
It's okay. It's funny. The host of your Airbnb out there loves brown, where mine you don't see any brown. So
No, well, there's a
different.
little bit in that woman's dress maybe behind
I
you, but
love
yeah.
this. I wish I could peel this off and take it home with me, but I think it might not go well with the host. So
So what is your damage deposit? No, I just.
I know, right? Well, I love people that are dog friendly and pet friendly because I mean, this is a great, they are very pet friendly. I don't know, and I didn't ask if they were Air 420 friendly, but I respect the property. I'm not going to do that. I do think we should start coming up with like a map of locations where you can rent and also feel comfortable medicating, like the one that you utilize in Tallahassee, which is invaluable.
100%. I won't disagree with you. It's actually something that we've talked about. Uh, our guest today, our audience probably knows both of them. Uh, Julie, Emily, you guys want to join us for a few minutes?
The ladies of Brevard County.
That's right. So Julie and I have talked for more than a minute about creating some sort of passport. They used to call it a green book in the time of when the worst of the racism was happening and blacks were not welcome in a lot of places. You could go to gas stations that catered to the African American community, and they had a green book. There's a movie by the same name.
Yeah.
And this green book was a list of kind of businesses that, as you traveled around the country, would be friendly to having someone of color. And, this show wasn't going to be about racism in the South. But when I first came down here, I knew some women who said that and they were older women, passed away now. So when I was in my 30s, they were in their 60s or 70s already. But they would talk about coming down to Florida and driving down on US 1, because that would have been the major thoroughfare of the day, and pulling over and having picnics because they brought all their food with them because there was not a restaurant along US 1 that would serve them.
There are some really interesting looking motels on US 1. I like taking pictures of them because they are so dated and they don't bother like updating it or trying to get new space. But like if you drive down US 1, all of a sudden there'll be a random hotel that's like the Cabaret Inn and like and there's always someone staying there. So that's great. But I think we should have a green book, but I don't think we can call it that because that's been taken.
Right.
Out of respect, we need to come up with
passport. We've maybe
the ganja guide, something like that.
Guide.
Oh, ganja guide. I like that one.
Dude, money all day long. Aces. Now I'm gonna say something like supposedly later. So I can't. The world evens out. Ladies, how was your trip to your ambassador week? Because this was the Treasure Coast, the Space Coast. This was our coast. All four of us are from the same area in different parts of the Space Coast, but this was our time to shine. What was it like, Emily, especially because I know Julie's been there? What was it like as your first time going out there and representing as an ambassador for FLCAN?
So overall, it was an awesome experience, but it's nerve-wracking because it's something new. But it was really nice to have Jody and Julie, who have already been there and have, walked the halls. It just kind of takes some of that nervousness away because you're doing it as a group. And then as you walk around, you're like, these are just people.
Yeah.
And they just need to be talked to just like any other person about cannabis that I interact with that have misconceptions or they think the endocannabinoid system is part of the plant.
The top body. Part. Yep. The top.
So yeah. But overall, it is a little overwhelming. It is a lot to take in but to see our democracy in action and be in those same hallways. And in a lot of ways, it's very easy to step in there and become a part of it if you want to be involved. Mm-hmm. And so I just thank both of them for taking the time and showing me around. I'm excited to go back, but now it's kind of like the nerves are a little bit over, the ice is broken. So that next time back will probably even be a different experience as well.
So, Cynthia, I don't know if all of our watchers or listeners will realize. Emily, did you want to tell us a little bit about what you do there in Brevard County and kind of about what you're doing this, because you came to this not, you did first, I guess my question would be, tell us a little bit about your business. Do you think that the experience in Tallahassee benefited you in that professional setting? And I know you're doing some additional education on the subject, and I thought maybe you would tell us how this impacted that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 4 office locations here on the Space Coast for medical marijuana certification and education, and we're big on our education. We also hold a lot of our patients' hands because there's a lot involved in this process, from the state to certification to seeing the doctor and keeping everything compliant. We have offices in Titusville, Merritt Island, Palm Bay, and our newest office will open in Cocoa Beach on Friday, November 21st, I think it is, in Cocoa Beach. We'll have a parking lot party. So everybody's invited to that. We will be cutting the ribbon at 420, of course.
Do you have giant scissors?
Awesome.
The giant scissors.
I want giant scissors. And
I can hook you up. I will get them because I will be in South Florida. We got giant scissors for the green ones when we did it. So I can bring them up and have them for you by that day.
Let me see. I think the chamber has them and they're going to be doing our ribbon cutting, the Accelerate Brevard chamber. So let me check with them because I had big scissors last time, but
everyone deserves big scissors.
Gotta have big scissors.
The ones they did when they did our FLCAN ribbon cutting a decade ago, they were using aluminum foil around a cardboard cutout.
Oh my gosh, that's so basic.
Scissors that looked really big. It was hilarious.
It's the photo op. Yeah.
So can FLCAN come? Can we all meet?
Yes, absolutely. We would love for you to have a table there and be able to talk to people. We're inviting other businesses. We'll have quite a few of the dispensaries there already. They'll be giving out swag and talking to patients as well. So it will be a fun event.
We could do an episode from there.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could from our office, which is totally cannabised out.
Super live episode on site during the grand opening. We could make this work.
I would absolutely love that for you guys to come and do an episode. It's a great view. We're actually in the red light building. A lot of people know what the red light building is in Cocoa Beach.
I do.
Yes.
So that is the office we are in. So we would like to bring more people because everybody thinks the ది building is so mysterious. So we want to break that mysteriousness and get people coming.
Share with Jody the history. Share with Jody and Julie the history of the red light building, or why.
I don't know. Since I've grown up here, I mean, every time you pass the Cape Royal building, it's about a 10-story building, right kind of across from the Publix area in like Cocoa Beach. And on the 9th floor on the corner, that has been lit up red. I've never seen it not lit up red. And there's always been rumors about what it is. It's a hair studio. I'm always like, ooh, red light district.
That's what I thought it was.
But it's like a red light therapy.
Yeah, I thought it was an exit sign illuminated to like point out the exits that would just always be on, but they were like, no, that's not what it is.
Everybody has a different theory when you talk to them about the red light building. So we were excited to get a spot there, and we've added a green light in our office so that we could be start to know as the green light building.
I think we can arrange for like one of those galaxy projectors to put pot leaves up at nighttime. So when you shut down, they'll see the pot leaves. Yeah, like we can make this happen. We are going to get you a really awkward reputation.
That would be awesome.
There's a lot to be done in that building with green lights.
I mean, I'm excited.
And projectors.
That's a great space.
As a COO of a doctor's office, do you think that being in Tallahassee learning this stuff is going to help you in that space?
Yes, I believe so, because we're not a plant touching company. We are not the dispensary. So we operate as a business, as an office, as a doctor's office. But yet we have tons of challenges all the time, like texting our patients to remind them about our appointments. We've had third parties cancel us just because of our phone number is 321-420-0040. So because of that 420, we were getting flagged. So now we're like, we've learned like all these things around it. So there can be no dashes. It just has to be one whole number in the text, or they'll flag us and shut us down because we're a cannabis business or related business. So for me, coming from a regular business world, we never had those challenges of like,
Oh no.
somebody shutting us down because, like that just didn't happen. So we face different challenges in this space. And I just think the rules and regulations also need to be caught up to this. We've labeled it in our state as a medicine, but yet on the flip side, how things are rolling out, we're not treating it as a medication. We're not protecting these patients as medication for all sorts of types of things. We're not giving easy access to some patients because of an old driver's license or something that would never stop from them getting a prescription medication from a doctor. So for us, there's a lot of aspects that I've seen that will be involved, not just other bills or legislation, but things that we also need to fix currently in the system.
And we got and now you feel like you have another tool to fix it. Julie was our hostess with the mostest. She was our regional coordinator for this trip.
I
Julie,
was.
meeting expectations.
You know what? I had no expectations. I was so excited to see our week come. I've been excited about this since last year, having more time up in the Capitol, learning my way around a little bit more, and not being in such a hurry. So it was amazing. I feel like I am the luckiest out of all the weeks for leading because I had the OGs, I had Jody
Yeah.
James, and I had Ethel Rolland. I
Yeah,
mean, and
yeah.
George came out of hiding too, George McCarthy, and I had the greatest newbies. I had Emily and I had Patty, and here I am right in the middle. This is kind of like my second year going into my third year. So I've never led a group. I'm gonna have to say Jody, the first day was there and kind of, helping us along. And then the second day, she's like, you guys are on your own. I'll be there later. So she came in like 45 minutes after us. George is doing his thing. We're
He
doing
just like,
our
he's a
thing.
wanderer. So
He
he's just like,
is.
he'll
He's
just
meeting
pop
people.
up and he's there and you're like happy to see him. And then he's like gone again.
Yeah,
So-
he's just a little butterfly floating around, meeting people, taking notes. He's very excited in doing a lot of things. And I was just excited. Patty got to speak a little bit, and she is in a mobile wheelchair and has problems moving. She has a lot of pain, and she got to discuss with lawmakers about how cannabis has helped her, and she got a little bit interested in other aspects too, being an advocate for people with disabilities. So
Right.
you never know if you go to the Capitol, with us for cannabis, you never know what else you might get interested in. So I
seems
was
like-
super proud of everybody.
With week one, we saw with week one with the Grateful Veteran, right? That like they are veterans and they care about veterans and cannabis users. And they seem to get a lot of warm welcome, which was exactly what we wanted for the people, the ambassadors. And then we've got week two with Jacksonville. We got business owners, Alex and Alex, and also cannabis enthusiasts, so everyone is something and something else. So like, Patty being, caring obviously about accessibility to different places. And also I'm a cannabis user. I feel like that's been invaluable for every single ambassador week to showcase that it's not just weed. It's also like, we care about other things that you care about too. So maybe hear us out. I feel like a lot of people got more meetings than just a regular run-of-the-mill cannabis enthusiast. So
Yes.
we got really lucky that we had such
Yeah.
a great couple of weeks.
It's been great. It really has.
All right, week
wish I could
four
come back up
is-
again.
Week four's got some big shoes to fill.
Woo! But that's where all of our leadership team is.
Yeah.
That's our leadership teams.
Yeah,
and,
you're right.
and I was listening to Colette and her list of things, and she's very organized. We were not, but we had fun and we did make an impact. We got to talk to some people. I finally got to meet one of my representatives, Brian Hodgers, and I've been trying to meet him a couple times. So it was great. People were very receptive and I really enjoyed it. And everybody did amazing.
Well, we've got Debbie Mayfield that represents us, and she wasn't there, but you also had a meeting with Monique Miller not too long, a couple weeks ago, and you were able to see her at our headquarters in this area, our neck of the woods. But So you guys got a lot done. Like if you think about it, all the people you got to meet and connect with. That's pretty
Yes,
cool.
and we got to see a committee. We got to sit in a couple committee hearings too.
So maybe not cannabis specific, but getting more comfortable with the process. Because when cannabis comes around, Emily, you're going to be up there giving testimony and you're going to be shaking like a leaf and we're going to be right behind you.
And she's going to do amazing.
You're going to do great, but you're going to be nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have learned to be okay with being uncomfortable. So.
That is Jody's MO. She takes people out of their comfort space and puts you in, it's like sink, swim, or float, fight, flight, or freeze kind of thing. But it's like Jody, James, or die. So you're going to find a way to make it work and make it feel normal. And she is the best conduit and guide. She is like the psychedelics guide that you would want if you were going to trip balls. You're welcome.
That's probably true.
It's so true.
Very intuitive of you, Cynthia. Very intuitive.
Just so you know. Just so you know.
Yes.
It's the more you know.
Definitely the person you want to trip with.
100%.
Note to self. Get that.
I learned a lot just spending like 24 hours with her, and that, I think those experiences are invaluable. I can't watch a video or read a book or even just be there and get just being able to ask questions and see firsthand, hey, this is kind of how it's done. And, here's how this happens. And that stuff is amazing. I'm thankful that she's happily and ready to share it.
I'm waiting for them to give her a star, like the Walk of Fame. Because she knows everybody. She can't go anywhere with someone. Yeah, they're not gonna. Oh, that'd be great.
Give me a leaf, not a star.
You're right, 100%. So she's a celebrity, but yeah, it almost seems almost unattainable to go and think that you can approach a lawmaker who is elected into a position of power, and you feel kind of like, oh, why would they ever want to listen to what I have to say? Or they've got bigger things. No, you are the biggest thing in their world. You are their constituency. You are the people, you are the home base, and they have to come back to Brevard. So they better give you
exactly.
So they don't work for someone else, they work for us. And if they don't work for us, we'll find someone else who does. So
well, and stay tuned. We've just had some elections this last week. Well, we didn't have big elections. We had municipal elections and some mayor's races and things like that. But we are less than 365 days from election 2026, where all 120 House members will want to be reelected. Yeah. They don't have to get reelected.
But they really want to.
They really do. And they really need to get right on this issue. We've talked about Smart and Safe quite a bit, and whether or not Smart and Safe is on the ballot in 2026 is still a great big remains to be seen.
When will we know?
I was looking today. They put out when the rules from last year got implemented, because we made some ballot changes last year. When the rules got implemented, the supervisors of elections were given a 90-day grace period where they didn't have to count any of the ballots. So Smart and Safe has been sitting in a holding pattern for the last 90 days, trying to figure out how many signatures they actually had, because the supervisors simply weren't reviewing them.
Right.
Sorry, we don't need to. We're not going to. Oh. So they announced this week that they are basically 206,000 signatures away from being able to qualify by signatures on the ballot. And I will remind you all that Secretary of State Cord Byrd is holding up 200,000 of them.
So they're 6,000 away.
6,000 away.
From going to the ballot, but they still have to go through Supreme Court review. And that's not been initiated since June or July, when that was supposed to be. So what happens if they don't get last year's Supreme Court review seemed to take months. It was a long time to get through that. And I felt like it wasn't as comprehensive of language to get through. It should have been faster, but we had some Moody challenges, right? Ashley challenges. Everyone's got an Ashley in their life that drives them crazy. She was hard last year. So is it possible that they could reach the threshold to make it to the ballot, but because of the stalling by Mr. Byrd and Uthmeyer and Miss Williams, all of those people not pushing it through the channels. There a way that they could not make it in time, even though they got the signatures, because Supreme Court review isn't done, or are they going to be compelled to finish?
Who compels that? The Attorney
Us.
General? The Supreme
Julie?
Court? Pam Bondi?
Emily?
I have
I
no
don't-
idea.
no, Pam
Like,
Bondi-
I mean, us? I don't know.
I think
Like,
that
how
is
do you
huge.
make it them do that? Like, that's
It's a huge question. And I asked that last year. Did the Supreme Court have any parameters? We've done all kinds of things in law to make it harder, but we haven't done anything to hold the Supreme Court accountable for actually doing things in a timely manner. So who knows? I don't know.
Well, to get on
Remains
the
to be
ballot,
seen.
is there an end date? Like you have to have all your paperwork done, all your approvals by blank day to make sure that we
By
fill
the
you
time the
in?
ballots are printed.
Okay,
So
whenever that is.
whenever that is, sometime in September of 2026.
Don't you
Absent
think the
two ballots
backlash,
go out.
if something like that was to happen, if the pressure wasn't put on, the backlash of not making it onto the ballot would initiate a firestorm of hellfire and brimstone down on God help whoever is going to answer the phone at the election center. But I'm saying they are well funded. True Leave is a big MSO. They have already taken this fight as far as they could last year, and they decided to, you know what, we're gluttons for punishment. Let's try it again. And then they're doing it again, put more money. If they didn't make it, oh my gosh,
Right.
their attorneys would have a heyday.
Well, and yeah, if it was the state keeping it together. But you know what? I really want to get into some of these stories. Is there anything in closing, Julie, that you would like people to know about what's happening at Ambassador Weeks?
Getting up there and just talking, telling our stories, and that's it. That's all I got.
If they give you 5 minutes, take 15 if you can, like Ethel. Do like Ethel.
They,
Do what Ethel does, yeah.
just go in there, ask questions, try to get in. If they give you their time, just tell them we have some great points, quick things, elevator pitches, that's all in our packages that really helps out with everything that we're doing. So,
And Julie's
Oh.
great about leaving she'll send a handwritten note after her meetings, like a little doll.
because
Like
it's nice.
I
It is
mean,
nice.
I think it's a very nice touch. I'm giving you major props, girls.
They don't look at their emails.
Nobody gets mail that's not a bill anymore. So that's really nice. And yeah, I delete. So yeah, I think that's a nice touch, Julie.
Yes, thank you.
And
I
one of the
thought that
things,
by probably Jody James.
Yes.
one of the things besides flattering me, which I appreciate tremendously, that has been a reoccurring theme, and I think Emily touched on it. She wasn't there by herself. It wasn't intimidating. There was somebody there to answer her questions, and it wasn't always me that was there to answer her questions, because we have a whole team of people who are getting this. And the beautiful thing about the people who are coming up, everyone who's been here has cannabis experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's what lawmakers don't have. So we help you figure out how to make the most of your experience with cannabis and share that with decision makers. If you were going to say one piece of advice, Emily, to people who are coming in week 4 and week 5, what would it be other than comfortable shoes?
Oh, that was fun.
Always.
Yes, comfortable shoes are definitely a must. Lots of walking going on. I would say read the materials that you guys provide. There's a lot of good information in there, just even about like being prepared a little bit. Kind of go over what you think you want to say, or but make sure you're coming across so that it is like they're talking about, like an elevator pitch. Try to kind of, what are the most important points you want to get across, and have a few things written down and be prepared, because you'll get so much more done, and it helps take a lot of stress off too. Like Julie was great. Like we kind of had our paperwork and like ready to go, like have something to leave, and this is what we're talking about. We had a little breakfast to powwow that. So just that little bit of preparedness, and it really was not much. We were not like up studying all night or anything by that means, but just that little bit of preparation and kind of have an idea of really what your point is for that day and sticking to it is very, very helpful.
So
I
if
would
you
add to
can't
that.
oh, go ahead.
I would just add to that, get to know who your legislators are. If you can't get a meeting with them, know some information about them, know what they look like. So if you
Yeah.
see them in the hallway, you can say, "Hey, representative, hey, senator," and find out what their interests are. Because sometimes if they don't like cannabis,
Yes.
you can feed off of what they're interested in to get in so that you can talk about stuff and maybe open that
100%.
door. So get to
A
know
lot
who
of
they are or what they look like.
our area, I know Thad Altman, when I was going to visit him the first time out in Tallahassee, he was super, oh no.
I'm keeping her away.
Where is Tallulah? Where is my baby girl? Forget what I was going to say. That's so unimportant. Look at that baby girl. She's so amazing. Oh my gosh, I want to scratch her face. It's Aunt Cynthia. I love you so much. That is Julie. I am about to start the cannabis and canine calendar, and it's going to have Julie and Tallulah, and then me and my dogs, and then Jen and her dogs. So anyone who is a cannabis enthusiast that also loves dogs, I mean, cats are cool. I'm allergic. We're just going to focus on dogs. But yeah,
She was
send
being
me-
really good, and then I think she heard your voice.
I love her so much, and I bring treats for her, and I scratch her butt. And you
Thank
think she's
you.
like a horse. But Emily, I know we lost Jody. I'm not even sure. I really hope we're still recording. But Emily, thank you so much for your input. It makes people a lot more comfortable when they hear what it's really like out there. One thing I know we've heard over and over again when we have the previous week ambassadors, and we host them on the show is it wasn't like I was thrown to the wolves by myself. So that support system of having people there where like Julie's got her little quirks, and Jody's got her pointers. Jody's out there writing language for bills, so she can't always be there, but Julie knows how to pick up where she left off. And so you looked way comfortable that night that we did our business call after the day was over. You may have been nervous, but you couldn't tell the slightest. So I hope that we see you at Cannabis at the Capitol in January. And we will definitely see you on the 21st in Cocoa Beach at the Red Light District in Cocoa Beach.
Absolutely.
Red Light Building.
Yes. I do have one extra plug though. We do this Tuesday coming up on Veterans Day in our Merritt Island office. We are doing free certifications for any veterans from 1 to 420.
Awesome.
So if you know a veteran, you're a veteran, and they have not been getting their card because of the cost involved, call our office, look us up, stop by. We will be here on Tuesday. We have some dispensaries coming and some great swag for you guys as well for all the veterans.
That's a really, really amazing event to host and flip the bill for veterans. So
it really is.
And plenty of veterans told us how they wanted to get those free cards last year. This is a chance. So that's amazing that you guys are doing that. That's awesome.
To do the certification, absolutely. Thank you very much, ladies, for joining us here in Tallahassee, and for continuing to carry the flag for Cannabis Action Network as we get a little further down this road. Appreciate you both coming on.
Give
today.
Tallulah a big hug for me.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you
Bye,
both.
guys.
Thank you.
So you disappeared for a second, but you came back to me, and I'm glad we can torch carry for one another and keep it fluid. I only panicked for a second.
Tallulah was on. There was no sense in
I
fighting.
love that dog so much. She's so big, and she sits like in my lap, and I'm like, do you feel comfy? Oh my gosh, I love that dog.
And you're like falling over forward because she weighs more than you do. Yeah.
She's like, I'm scared, and I'm like, yep, I got you, big girl. But so tell me a little bit about, because your teaser today, your boilerplate for the edition was so specifically vague, and I'm interested. You got me.
So I've been very concerned about the government shutdown, Cynthia.
As you should, because
but on the other hand, if the government shutdown ends tomorrow,
okay,
it's going to have a whole ripple effect. So some of our listeners will remember that about 60 days ago, we learned that the Budget Committee had added Section 607. And Section 607 says that the federal government can't expend money to reschedule cannabis.
Right, we did talk
So
about
of course, we're in the middle of a rescheduling. And in the midst of all of this rescheduling discussion, there are some very interesting things that are kind of happening in the background. First of all, came up on my feed today. Have you heard of MMJ biopharma cultivation?
I have not. It sounds
Well,
very appropriately named. It's not very specific on what area of the industry they are serving, right?
right. And so they have applied to the federal government for research permission to grow cannabis. And
Interesting.
in 2021, we passed a bill that said if you apply for that, 22, if you apply for a research grant, they have 60 days to grant it or not grant it.
But
And
we're
this
shut down, Jody.
And this has been going on for months. So when the government comes back, they are faced with a couple things. First of all, if they pass the budget bill the way that it is passed, we will not be able to
Right.
reschedule cannabis.
It's off the table.
100%. And biopharma cultivation is working really hard right now to position themselves to be able to create FDA approved cannabis.
Something smells fishy.
There is a whole lot going on. Now, remember, as long as the government is shut down, as long as that budget isn't passed, we still have the Rohrabacher-Farr Amendment in place, which means that we can continue to operate our state medical marijuana programs.
Right.
We still have an option to move forward on rescheduling. We still
Right.
have hemp products, because remember, last October 24th, 19 attorney generals signed on to a letter from the Attorney General's Association saying that we should ban all synthetic cannabinoid products.
The
right,
attorneys
that are
general. Yes.
created under the Farm Act. Meanwhile, dronabinol, which is already Schedule 3, is a synthetic THC Delta 9. Did you know that?
I did not know that. What is, I'm sorry, say it again.
Dronabinol, which is a pharmaceutical
Okay.
cannabinoid, is a synthetic
Yeah.
Delta 9.
How do they
So-
make it?
The same way that the guy down here at the corner store makes it.
And okay, I'll have to look into that because I did not know that I know Marinol, I know
Huh?
Epidiolex,
Epidiolex,
I
and now
know-
there is dronabinol. So dronabinol was recently used in a study with Alzheimer's. We got
Okay.
this great Alzheimer's study back that said that THC products were effective in about a 30% reduction in violent behavior in Alzheimer's patients and their combative behavior, right? Their aggression.
Is there a high level of aggression in Alzheimer's patients?
Huge.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Huge.
I would think that
High
because of
level
the
of combative.
inconsistency of their memories and their current state of mind, I would be fight or flight too, and pretty
And-
aggressive because it's
Correct.
confusing.
And more than even that. So a 30% reduction was huge. And when I got looking at it, it said, well, they were using dronabinol.
Interesting.
And I'm like, well, that's interesting. So I started figuring out what that was. And it is another synthetic Delta 9 THC. So at the same time that the attorney generals are trying to ban
Right.
synthetic Delta 9 THC,
You're doing a
The-
study with Alzheimer's patients on
and the FDA
synthetic-
has approved a
Yeah.
synthetic, right? So
Mhm.
who are we trying to stop?
Well, that's a very easy question if you take a step back and say, if this group gets to play with it, but this group doesn't, then that's not fair, right?
Biopharma that wants to work on the whole plant
Yep.
can't get an approval. Dronabinol is already approved.
Yep.
As long as we don't move on Schedule 3 or descheduling cannabis, then dronabinol continues to capture the market as long as we can eliminate the Delta variants like Delta 9 THC synthetics that are being created under the Farm Bill.
All
So
the
this is a huge
interference
play,
and static.
huge
Yeah.
play. And built entirely around a government shutdown that is the longest shutdown in history, that everybody is saying is about healthcare. And I'm like, maybe it really is about healthcare. Maybe it's about our healthcare. So that I thought that
I
we
love
needed
it
to
when
start
you
talking
do
about
this.
that.
Isn't
We
this
got to come
fun
together.
to go and connect all these dots? You get into a rabbit hole, you know, and you get on like a hunt, you get on a scent, what have you, okay? And you
The
get
hemp
into it and you
industry,
can connect things that are not that far-fetched, Jody, and you did a great job.
they're not. The hemp industry, you know, stood against Amendment 3 last year because they didn't
Yes.
think there was enough in it for them. The MMTC stand against the hemp industry because they're afraid there's nothing in it for them. And meanwhile, the federal government is going to shut us down entirely and allow dronabinol and a couple synthetic cannabinoids to be the law of the land and under Schedule 3. So I'm very concerned about the conspiracies. I mean, I did do some news. There was an Alzheimer's study, right?
That is news.
There
but
was
it
Smart
takes
Safe
time. It takes time to dig in and get your
607.
fingernails into the meat and potatoes because yes, not everything can be covered up so easily. And if you spend it a little time, you're going to uncover a lot of truth.
If the government goes back with the House's version of the budget bill, then it will shut down rescheduling.
Yep.
If we pick up the Senate version, it reauthorizes the Farr Rohrabacher Amendment, which prohibits interference with medical marijuana states. But that amendment has specific lists, and Nebraska is not on it.
Well, Nebraska is one of those late states to the game. Like they were not anything. They were not hemp anything. They were not looking to discover or to elaborate. They were just happy with the way things were. Like Idaho and the other square states. There was like a Dakota, one of the Dakotas, and then Nebraska, you know, square state. So why would Nebraska be omitted from the
100% no idea, but Nebraska is a medical state now.
Have you called Nebraska?
Not yet.
Okay.
I was doing my homework today. I've been a little busy. We had guests all week. We were working on a
gotta make the time, Jody.
Bill.
You gotta make the time to call Nebraska.
On the right to cultivate cannabis. We're working.
Yeah, you did have a busy week. Let's be honest.
Veteran reduced card fees for veterans. It has been a busy week.
I think you also like drafted a bill in your free time. And that's why in Tallahassee you may not have been, you know, you let Julie take the reins, but yeah, like you were writing language
that
could essentially change our laws here in Florida, just, you know, in your free time.
You know, with 1.3 million veterans in the state of Florida, many of whom have disabilities, many of whom are retired and may be interested in using this therapeutically. Reducing that card fee to $15 is a gift to 1.3 million people. So I appreciate direct service organizations and how important their missions are. Organizations like Tetra Horizon, our friends with the Grateful Veterans and Battle Buds. But at the end of the day, if you can change the law, you can change the law for 22 million people.
Yeah.
So that's really affecting a lot of lives. So that's part of the reason
You're
why
always
Florida Can went the way they did.
You're always thinking about Florida Can members, that's for sure. Like even when you don't think she is, she'll call you and she'll be like, I'm thinking about you if you need anything. Like, and your perfume smells really nice, which that made my day the other day. So but she's not just thinking about the people that are members of our organization, she's thinking about the people that could benefit from the work of the organization, which is so much different because you want to say let's be selfish and only think about what our friends want and what we want. But there's so many other people out there that maybe just don't know about FLCAN or know how much work you do and how much hitting the pavement makes a difference. But they will, because when you get stuff done, then they start to pay attention even closer. But Jody is always focused on how to make the program and its participants better and do right by them because we deserve a lot of things that we're not getting. So I think that's great, Jody. What you do
We
out
are,
there
it's
is
going to be fun though. Next year, I'm going to see if I can get a bill introduced that says if you are a 25-year-old nonprofit in the state of Florida and you have been working on cannabis policy, that your members can join a collective and grow for one another at reduced fees. So you wait.
don't play with me. Whatever we got to do, that's perfect because we just had a birthday. So we're over 25 years
We
old.
are over 25.
Man, I would
That's
love to join a
right.
commune collective. If you get that passed, you will go down in history.
Everybody will want to be a Florida Can member because our people grow great pot.
We really do. Hypothetically, hypothetically, perhaps, maybe. No, and it's good, safe medicine as well.
Right. And
So-
that was part of what we testified about last week. You know, I don't know when my marijuana medicine has been irradiated. I don't know when it's been ozonated. I don't know when they're putting on growth hormones. I don't know when they're, I just don't know. I have no way of knowing yet.
Do we know if any of the stuff that we put in our bodies has been treated like that?
We would have no way of knowing without doing a freedom of information. And even then they might claim trade secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a
Trade
long
secrets
way.
are poison on the plant.
I mean, if you poison somebody's medicine, I'm pretty sure that's like a criminal charge. So if we can't verify that our medicine doesn't have poison in it, then okay. I feel like these are elementary elements that we shouldn't have to be bringing up, but they have to be brought up. Let's talk alcohol because they be all types of crazy and all over the place. So you remember legislative session earlier this year in Tallahassee with those lobbyists that were making a valiant effort in an attempt to get THC or hemp-derived THC beverages under the alcohol industry. Now, what was their argument, Jody? Up there.
Oh, I love this.
You get to use your word.
I do. I knew what you were asking me.
I'm setting you up.
They are part of the age gating. They are already engaged in age gating.
Yes.
Like age gating. So
that is the term of the season, by the way. We will make sure
really is.
We need
to know it. And they are coming after the adult hemp market. There's no question. So it's interesting to see how everything's going to shake out because, a lot of these adult beverages are coming from synthetically derived cannabinoids, right? Or extracted cannabinoids from other states. They say they have to be.
There's been a pivot. Okay. So what we saw in session, we saw lobbyists for the big alcohol retailers saying, give it to us. We are a trusted industry. We will age gate, make sure that we don't sell booze to anybody under 21. We card everybody and they can't even come in here and play with our stuff. Give it to us. We know what you're expecting and we're trusted. And
we collect taxes.
Oh yeah, don't worry. We're going to get the taxes too. And we are going to make you proud. So that was the first attempt, was dispatching the lobbyists and ensuring that they are the best group to handle distribution responsibly. When that failed to gain broad support, right? It didn't make that big of a difference, not just in Florida, but in other markets, they were attempting the same thing. And when they didn't get that permission slip from the legislators to be like, oh yeah, you're totally right. You guys are on point with this. Y'all take over the THC beverages. Then they started a campaign to really support the ban of hemp-derived THC beverages. So no way. That's why I said, if alcohol can't have you, nobody can. So when alcohol realized that their first attempt at the lobbyist effort to get, bring it over here, we got you, that didn't work. The second attempt was like, okay, let's fund the campaigns to completely prohibit these beverages because we can't compete with that.
Can't compete.
But now, here's what I'm seeing, and this is another one of these full circle moments. In a few markets that don't have robust cannabis programs, like Alabama and Tennessee, what they're doing is they're giving the hemp-derived market and beverages to the alcohol regulators. So if you were to give them to the alcohol companies, the retail distribution, that is an unfair monopoly that you could create, excluding those who help to build the hemp industry, the hemp retailers that are making these products. You would make the rich richer, tell them they can't play with it, and give the alcohol industry what they wanted. But that wasn't going to work, and it didn't. Maybe not strategically, but in practice, nobody wanted it. But I did notice recently that, certain hemp markets that don't have a robust cannabis program are giving it to their alcohol and tobacco regulators. They don't want it. Let's be honest. They've already got enough on their plate. But think about how realistic that is for the argument that if the alcohol industry can age gate appropriately, whoever regulates them is the best person to regulate a hemp-derived THC beverage. Don't let all the intoxicating beverages go to one group. That's not fair. Give the regulators the responsibility of regulating a new group. And I think that's going to be the new pattern. Although we do see states are grappling how to regulate across the board, we saw nationally that there is a association of all these beverage companies, like the Beer and Wine Institute, the Wholesalers of America, the America Distilled Spirits Coalition. All of these alcohol groups formed a super group, pretty much in an attempt to ban all of these hemp derived. So it's so weird how when they didn't get what they wanted, they're like, let's all band together. Let's all be homies and let's shut down the hemp industry. And so that's where you see them going, where some states are like, we know what you're up to. We're just going to give it to your your regulators, or we hear you as the lobbyist, but you're not going to get all the business. These people are like, fine, you're not going to give it to us. We're going to shut it down and we're going to fund the shit out of it. And that's what they're doing.
So January 15th, 2026, Florida Cannabis Action Network is hosting Come Together at the Florida State Capitol, where we are inviting the MMTCs, patients, hemp distributors and manufacturers to join us at the Capitol as we talk to decision makers about this plant. It's one plant with many uses. And the sooner we create a regulatory system that works for everybody, particularly the end user, because that's what Florida Cannabis Action Network cares about and regulates. We understand that we are the intersection between business and policy and people. But you know what? It's going to take all of us to come together if we are going to get past this next Prohibition 2.0.
Yeah. And I'm as much as I'm not a big fan of hemp derived anything, because of what we've seen, there are some good players like the CR Worlds, the Treadwells. There are some really good players out there. They're never going to get enough attention to do them justice for the work that they put in and sustaining life through this nonsense. But what's funny is I think regulators are starting to notice that if you put a hemp derived beverage next to an alcoholic beverage, that people are more often than not are going for the alternative. And because they don't want the hangover, because they feel like they need more options than just alcohol or no alcohol. And
calories, alcohol, hangover.
I think that's something that's very threatening to a very large, very well-funded industry. So if we don't start paying attention now to the national story and then look at how it comes home to like the Tallahassee story, then they could end up getting what they want. And that would really put a lot of people in a rough, tough position where alcohol did not earn that. I just don't think they earned the ability to do that. But let's talk about Massachusetts, which doesn't always get a lot of good PR, right? Let's be honest.
Yes, we got a little bit of good stuff coming out of Massachusetts. Share.
Well, a birdie told me, a little Colette birdie said that Massachusetts had introduced an employee protections bill for cannabis users. So when I was cramming to make sure I had something to speak on about this topic before the show, just full disclosure, I noticed that the language in this one says that an employer that is going to vet a possible employee, right, an applicant, cannot use cannabis as a determining factor of whether or not they're going to be employed, but they can use it during employment is what I got. So
That was
if
the
you're
weirdest thing,
applying,
huh?
they'll leave it off the test. They will not judge you for it being present. And I like that because I always said, like, what if I went to Amsterdam and I used cannabis in a legal, in a legal country? Amsterdam's not a country, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
I do.
legal there. And then I came back. Why am I being punished for
Colorado,
going on vacation?
right?
So I
100%.
like that employers cannot prevent hiring a very qualified candidate because cannabis is present in a tox screen or in a urinalysis, but they can, it looks like from what I read, they can fire you for it.
Well, the way when I started thinking about this, they can make it a condition of employment. So a bus driver could be told, if you want this job, I see that you were someplace where you legally consumed cannabis last month. But if you really want to be a bus driver for the Massachusetts school system, you're going to have to agree to be cannabis free.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the way I'm reading that. And I think that's pretty valid. The Supreme Court of the United States, it was actually the Circuit Court of the United States, had determined that drug testing was perfectly reasonable if national security or public safety was involved. So, a bus driver, they're not going to disqualify you from being an applicant if you're a bus driver that tests positive, but you're going to have to agree that as the condition of employment to be a bus driver or
Right.
a long haul truck driver, that you're going to forego cannabis.
It
That's
does
the way
say here, and I want to correct myself because I don't want to misinform any of our listeners. It does say employers could not, quote, refuse to hire, terminate from employment, penalize, fail to promote, or otherwise take adverse employment action against an individual based purely off of their status of a qualifying patient. So they can't, during the screening process as an applicant, they will not use it against you. And then they cannot use it to prevent your promotion, which I love that, or actually terminate you. So I was wrong and I misspoke when I said it looked like you could be fired. It looks like a pretty well-rounded piece of language. Now we have it here with polls.
Senator Tina Polsky has introduced
Okay.
an employment
I was
protection
going to
bill.
sound it out until I got it right. But yeah, she's got some pretty comprehensive language for employee and parental rights and
Yeah,
protection.
two different bills.
Yep.
Gary Stein from Suncoast Normal was in
Yep.
Tallahassee this week looking for co-sponsors in the House of Representatives on those bills. And the doctors group has given us some language that we're going to be helping to shop on that. But
Was Dr.
and
Barry Gordon in that group?
he was.
Yeah,
God
he's
love-
kind of
shout
like a
out to
hero.
Dr. Barry.
One of my favorites.
And to the lovely Patty Gordon, his wife.
The strong arm behind the doctor, yes.
It
Power couple.
Absolutely gets the Spouse of the Year award for being Mrs. Barry Gordon.
Yep.
So, but very, very appreciated the language that they've given us. I gotta say though, and we're really going to be pushing the next 2 weeks, unless lawmakers start hearing right now from their constituents, phone calls to the office, emails, take a second, go online, ask Google who your representative is. They'll send you right to their email and just say, hey, we really need employment protection for the 900 plus thousand medical marijuana users in the state of Florida. That's an awful lot of people. The goal of medical marijuana is to get people to their healthiest, to get them, help them get to as well as they can be. And part of being as well as you can be is being able to be employed if you're still of that age and choose to be employed. So to put that artificial barrier, just as an aside, in the 1990s, when I was walking around trying to talk to the AIDS, HIV support groups about supporting medical marijuana, I invariably got a no every time, because it was ultimately the goal of these support groups to get people healthy enough to get them back to work.
Oh,
and
wow.
Cannabis use is a barrier to getting these people back to work.
And they just released a study about HIV and the benefits of cannabis use for people that are going through HIV treatment, not in lieu of treatment, like you can see with some people that suffer with cancer patients, where you can see if they were to remove one of the drugs that were supplied by a physician, when and supplement that with the cannabis or RSO, they do see a lot of benefit, my family included. But this is something where they're saying the current medicine protocol for an HIV patient is satisfactory, but adding cannabis in is even more beneficial.
There you
And
have it.
I mean, anybody we
Cannabis-
can help along the way. It's not just this or that. It's sometimes, not everybody has one of the qualifying conditions, but some of those qualifying conditions, if you have it, it is completely debilitating and devastating for you and your family. The options are what makes the hope. And so that's a big deal for FLCAN and our members because you got to have hope or
And I thought, cannabis
anger.
helps, but that was a great way to end this. Cannabis helps.
Yes. It's the cure
right.
and the cause of all of our problems, right? So, thank
But
you.
But it is not going to cure all the world's problems. It just might cure all of mine. Thank you all for
Yes.
watching today. Remember, Florida Cannabis Action Network is dependent upon your contributions to do the good work that we do and bring you the programs that we bring you. Elevated Intel with Cynthia Brewer and Jody James is just one of the many ways the Florida Cannabis Action Network communicates each week with our members. Follow us on all the social media channels. Wait a minute. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and X. So maybe not all of them, but you can certainly follow us. If you don't like and share with your friends, people won't know about us, and Cynthia will be sad.
I will be very angry, sad.
And we don't want Cynthia to be sad.
No.
So thank you all very much. Membership in Florida Cannabis Action Network is really, really affordable, and members make the difference. Thanks, everybody. See you next
Bye.
week.